Bitch, you got coronavirus. Shit, you got coronavirus. We ain't finna do shit with this coronavirus. I ain't finna take a trip with this coronavirus. Bitch, you got coronavirus. Shit, you got coronavirus. We ain't finna do shit with this coronavirus. I ain't finna take a trip with this coronavirus.
Hey everyone out there in internet land, it's Christian and Corey with the Powerful Nerdcast. We're here for another episode 925, right Corey?
Actually, it's 99.
99, well there you go. Okay, in episode 100, we're going to reveal that Corey actually has coronavirus. That'll be the big reveal for the, okay, Corey, you don't think it's funny? I'm trying to have fun here with our audience in internet land. Thank you so much for watching. We actually have a lot of things to talk about, right? We got the new One Piece chapter to talk about. You said you got a few things on this Post-it note right here with other things for us to talk about that I don't even know about, so I'm excited to talk about it. And
I should let you take charge more often.
I know,
this
it's
is
chaos.
Hilarious.
It's fucking chaos here, people. To be honest, though, shit in the world is dark. You know, a lot of people are scared and worried, but overall, we're trying to have a fun time and put on a good little show for you guys. So thanks for joining us. We know you don't have anything better to do right now.
It's the truth, though. I mean, you know, everybody's stuck at home right now. A lot of people are under self-quarantine. So hopefully you get a little bit of entertainment value from some of the stuff that we're going to talk about. And make sure, of course, to join in on the conversation in the comments section below. Any sort of questions or things you guys want us to talk about, make sure to sound off. But we live in an uncertain world right now. And the only thing that I think is actually sort of firmly keeping it alive
is that you can support us on Patreon right now. Okay, sorry.
I was going to say the only thing that's keeping us up is everybody's combined hatred of Joe Exotic and the Tiger King, which
Joe Exotic is pretty awesome. It's a beautiful train wreck to distract you from our own train wreck of a society right now.
And I know that everyone and their mom is talking about Tiger King, but holy crap, I just want to talk about it just a little bit because this is a show that is absolutely sort of like dominated the internet for the last week.
Yes.
And everybody's been watching it because they're stuck at home. It's the most popular documentary on Netflix right now, and it is just an absolute beautiful tornado of white trash and giant big cats. And I didn't really know much about the documentary. Like, I remember one night I was scrolling through Netflix because I've been going on like an anime binge, and I just see this like random image of this dude with a mullet, and it says Tiger King, and it was like a story of murder and mayhem, and I just sort of skipped past it. And then literally the next day, you brought it up. And you're like, hey, have you seen Tiger King? I'm like, wait, what are you talking about?
I didn't know I exposed you to it. I thought you already saw it.
Well, that was the thing. Like, I saw it while I was scrolling through Netflix, but I just sort of ignored it. I was like, I'm not really into that type of thing. I'm not into the whole true crime documentary kind of thing.
I hate those shows, too, to be completely honest.
I never even finished, what was that one show on Netflix, which is Making a Murder?
Yeah, it was like the most awesome thing. It was kind of did what Joe Exotic did. It blew up for a minute. Everyone was talking about it, and then a lot of people like got halfway through and quit. Probably like yourself.
Yeah, I didn't even get halfway. I got like 2 episodes in. I'm like, I'm done. But Tiger King, just
tigers are awesome.
For a lack of better phrase, gets its claws in you.
Yeah,
and
won't let go.
It gets really obsessive. And I mean, just what a great documentary, first and foremost. And it was so well put together, considering that I'd say about 90% of it is all just like pre-existing stock footage, just sort of like supplemented by a lot of interviews of all of these crazy fucking people
at different
who were involved
critical
with
points.
This story.
Yeah, I originally watched it and thought they shot all of this for the documentary, and some of it they did because they mix it in so well. But some of it, I mean, Joe's in jail. Essentially, that's the conclusion at the end of the first episode, is that Joe Exotic is in jail. So they can't be interviewing him currently, while the series was being made. And just the editing and the storytelling is really high quality, even though the subject matter is kind of trashy and bizarre, and you can see this is like a world-class documentarian using really good music and really good cuts. And it's not hard to get great footage because you're watching a guy with a fucking 6-shooter revolver, go into a tiger cage, and then you got Carol Bastion, who's just ridiculous, and then you got the other ponytail dude who's ridiculous. Axelrod, what's his name?
Axelrod?
I don't remember his name.
Is Doc Ansel?
Doc Ansel, yeah, whatever.
For those who are probably, and I guarantee everybody who's watching this has probably already seen Tiger King and known about it because the memes have just exploded everywhere.
When are the episode reviews going to come out, Corey?
Never.
Okay.
There's no way I'm going to be adding anything to that fucking zeitgeist because everybody has had their 2 cents about Tiger King.
Yeah.
But if you don't know, it's just about this guy named Joe Exotic who owned this private zoo. He had all of these tigers and wild animals, and he was challenged by this animal activist named Carol Carol Baskin, and they butted heads for years. And then eventually he sort of like broke down after the death of a couple of his husbands, and he hired someone to try and kill this woman. He ended up getting found out, and they threw him in jail. But this is all told over the course of like 7 episodes, and just getting to, dive really deep into the private zoo world and how fucked up it really is, and how everybody who actually owns like these giant wild animals are just like the most despicable, terrible people that like you've ever seen.
Well, they hide behind the fact that they want to help animals, and then they immensely profit off of it.
Mm-hmm.
And the only people that never get helped are the animals.
Yeah.
And that's the saddest part. The employees don't get a great gig with great benefits or great stability. I mean, you think they'd have an epic healthcare plan because they're around large cats. No, they have nothing. Joe Exotic uses prisoners or people that were like really just released from prison, had nowhere to go, and then he would take them and give them like $100 a week and give them a house to live in. So he would essentially make them sort of, I don't want to use the term slaves, but they had no way out of the Joe Exotic world once they went in. Carol Bastion, she uses all volunteers while running a for-profit business because the people are just so excited to hang out with these animals. And personal story, tigers are my favorite animal. I wanted a tiger. I wanted a tiger experience. I wanted like a really close interaction with a tiger for a long time. Like that is not something that I imagine is just me. A lot of people want that. So it was just sort of interesting to see. Oh, and then the other guy, Doc Antle, he like only recruits young girls and ends up like grooming them to be sort of his wives. And
he has his very own personal sex cult.
What harem?
Yeah, a harem, if you want to call it. Yeah.
But he doesn't marry them, so it's not polygamy. But he buys them all houses that are on his property. Again, these people trap these people in these worlds, so they won't say anything bad because it's their job. They aren't taken care of very well. They have no way out. They're never like built up financially to leave, And all these people are very manipulative that own these parks because they can say, "Look, I'm helping these animals," and yes, they're feeding them. But they're not really helping the animals.
No, not at all.
So it's sort of a weird place. Like the whole show is like so intriguing and yet sad. And then I honestly believe that everyone's having a hard time dealing with, the current situation we find ourselves in, COVID-19. And so they're like, this is just this awesome distraction of someone's life who's in worse shape than mine.
Yeah, definitely. What I really love about the strength of the show, and I think the biggest thing about it is that I think if they exclusively focused just on Joe Exotic, I don't think the show would be as entertaining. I really love that they
kind
dive.
of get wore out. It'd be like, there he is being goofy again.
Exactly. It's too much of a trashy thing. But I like that they go around to all of these different zoos, like Doc Antle, for example. Like I really loved the dynamic between these two groups because they effectively have the same type of business where they have this big zoo with all these exotic animals that allow people to interact with them. But like they were so different from one another. Like Joe Exotic is the Walmart of zoos. Doc Antle was the Target of zoos, and I just thought that was really fascinating. But then you go around to all these other characters. Like there's that one cocaine dealer from the 1980s who had an obsession with these giant animals, and then of course there's Carol Baskin herself, who I think one of the most surprising things about this documentary is that while it did focus mostly on Joe Exotic and how just fucking insane and unhinged this guy was, after the documentary, people are more interested now in Carol Baskin because of not the fact that she had someone who had a contract killer that was going to try and murder her, but the fact that there's still the potential that this woman is just as fucking insane because she potentially killed one of her previous husbands who suddenly disappeared without a trace in the 90s. And the memes that I have seen pop up over the last week have been brilliant. But also at the same time, it does suck if this woman is innocent and she's having all of this vitriol thrown at her. Although I have to admit, yesterday, our good friend Keith just walked up to me with his phone, and it was just a picture of Tony the tiger saying that Carol Baskin's husband was great.
Oh, I saw that meme yesterday.
I love that type of crap. And the
internet's having a field day. I saw a great one. If you don't know, at the end of the final episode, there was this montage of one of the fat guys in the show who rides a jet ski. That doesn't sound that exciting, but goddamn, when they put it to Eye of the Tiger, like I've seen people that have painted portraits of this guy with his hair blowing back, on the jet ski with the sunglasses, like people, because everyone has time now.
What a royal douchebag moment of the documentary that was.
And he was like, "Hey man, you guys want to get some shots? I'm going to ride some jet skis later."
And the producer was like, "Oh, really?
Yeah.
This is gonna be great.
We're gonna shoot it slow mo. It'll be epic." I felt bad for him because, well, he's also kind of a narc. You know, like he essentially decides to turn on Joe. I don't want to give it all away, but, you know, he becomes an informant for the FBI.
And he's another one of those exotic animal owners. I think he had a lemur.
He got in trouble for a lemur, yeah.
He got in trouble for a lemur and all that other shit.
A
And I mean,
Zumafu.
you know, if anything, you know, the documentary is interesting just because of the trashiness behind it. But
I don't know.
it also reaffirms my belief that you do not need to own these type of creatures.
I was going to 100% agree with you. My biggest takeaway is these animals don't need to be profited from.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying rescues don't need to exist, but here's the one thing. They don't show you a good example of what a good animal rescue is.
No, they don't.
I don't know what it is after watching that show.
Exactly.
So when they say they sent these tigers to a new animal rescue, how do I know? It's just not some other Joe Exotic person that's not quite as eccentric, that kind of keeping his head down so no one looks that deeply into him. But I feel like now that I know, if someone wanted to like ask me and my wife to go see a tiger cub exposure, or I don't know what you would call it, like if a tiger cub was there and we all sat in a semicircle and we all got to pet the tiger cub, I would have real moral problems doing that now. You know, like that it would be like, I'm giving this guy money and he has a tiger. I'm not helping tigers. I'm giving that guy money, you know? That's all I know. So you really have to ask yourself, like, I don't know. I went to a private sanctuary once and I paid like $200, and me and my cousin went and we got to feed the animals in the morning. Like we went out with the feedings.
What kind of animals were they?
Tigers, lions, and bears.
Oh my.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's kind of the jokes write themselves on this one. And it was fun to be close, but they also never let us pet the tigers or anything. They're like, if you stick a finger in there, he'll bite it and rip it off. They're
Jesus.
like he'll play tug of war with your hand and he'll win.
Yeah.
You know? And so as much as I wanted to pet the tigers, as much as I wanted to touch the bear through the cage, as much as I wanted, I felt like this was actually an animal rescue because they took in broken animals that had arthritis. And, you know, I don't know if this was a good animal park, though. That's what I'm saying. The moral questions of these private zoos are huge now, and I don't know if I could ever support them. But who knows what the right answer is?
I mean, even with Carol Baskin, like throughout the entire documentary, for the most part, they try to portray her as kind of like the good guy in the story, someone who's actually looking out for the well-being of these animals. But at the same time, like, she's not too different from what Joe or Doc Antle or these other people are doing.
She's just
yes,
a prettier package.
She's providing them with a good place to live, but she's still, you know, showing them off to people and keeping them in flimsy cages and not really giving the tigers the actual freedom that they deserve. But again,
what do tigers need, though? Like,
they need a lot of land, obviously. They're huge animals that need to move a lot.
is it like 5 acres per tiger? Because then before you know it, you're going to need a 40-acre cage just for one tiger.
Yeah.
Or like just for 5 tigers. Like, that's so much land.
And Joe Exotic said he had like, what, over 100 different cats?
I thought it was like 300, dude. I don't remember.
That is insane.
Yeah.
And you know, these things, that was one of the other heartbreaking things about this entire documentary, is that, you know, for the first 6 months of these tigers' lives, like they're safe and at least kind of safe to be around people and everything. But after that, they get completely dangerous, and they either have to be corralled with a bunch of other tigers who are struggling to eat all of the Walmart leftover meat that they can, or unfortunately, as the documentary implies, sometimes they just got to kill these damn animals or ship them off to people.
Yeah, that's sort of what happened towards the end. The tigers, after Joe already was loaded up, 100, 200 tigers, he would just kill the young ones when they would get to a certain age. That's what they implied. I don't know how much of this is real and how much of this is just sensational, like good TV.
There are so many crazy things about this documentary. Did you know that, believe it or not, this whole Joe Exotic thing even has a connection to Michael Jackson?
Yeah, I saw that the alligators that died. The Jackson estate, though, has not confirmed that yet.
Yeah, I know. Apparently, they belong to Michael Jackson. I would have thought that Michael Jackson would have had them in his very own crazy-ass zoo. I mean, we already know that Michael Jackson was...
No, he did, and then he died.
Okay.
And then they had to get rid of him.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he didn't just keep them there. This happened, like, after he died, they took those in and made them a part of that zoo.
But it shows you that with enough money, you can have a tiger. Yeah. At least you used to. Who knows anymore?
Shit, they said you can get a tiger for $2,000.
That is
There's
less
some purebred
than a good used car.
Yeah, there are purebred dogs and cats that cost the same amount.
Yeah,
as a fucking fucking tiger.
I got one of those Bengal cats because that was like a huge goal of mine. I was like, I can't have a tiger, so I want the tiny looking tiger cat, And I don't know if you know what a Bengal cat is, but it's bred with an Asian leopard and a really chill domestic house cat, and it gives you this cool pattern. And that cat costs like $1,000, and that means I was halfway to getting a tiger. And that's fucked up. That's crazy. But you could even buy like higher end cats and purebred dogs that are way over $2,000. Like if you wanted some high end poodle or like some really top of the line golden retriever, I bet you'd pay way more than $2,000.
Oh, definitely.
So it's fucking weird, man. Do any of us have the space to have a tiger?
No.
And what can you do with the tiger once it gets over a year old? You can't even play with it anymore. Dude, and also Mike Tyson put out a few good stories about his tiger days.
Oh, yeah?
You got to look up. Google image Mike Tyson tigers, okay? Because that is some cool, crazy images. When Mike Tyson was crazy and like 20 and heavyweight champ of the world, he had 3 white tigers, and a lady jumped over his fence to get to them because she thought they were so cool looking, and that tiger ended up fucking her up because it didn't know her, so it just attacked her.
What the fuck was she thinking?
She thought she saw Mike playing with him. I guess she thought it would play back, but no, those knew Mike from when he was a child or when they were kids. When they were tiny tiger pups, or whatever they're called,
Kittens.
Tiger kittens.
I guess tiger kittens. But yeah, this is some crazy Tony Montana bullshit. Like,
check it out, man. You gotta watch at least the first episode.
Like I said, I'm not usually into those type of documentaries. I ended up just power watching the shit out of it in like 3 days. It was amazing. I watched I think the last 5 episodes all at once because I'm like, I have to see how this is going to end. It's so amazing. I think aside from Joe, I think the best thing about the entire documentary is just all the supporting cast, so to speak. Like this is just a menagerie of carnival freaks, which are just amazing. These people have such great stories, and they all have such amazing input, and just this guy lived a crazy life, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen next with it. Obviously, this documentary, I think, is just the beginning of the legend of Joe Exotic. One of the things that I found most fun this week is how everybody's in talk to see who's going to play Joe Exotic in the inevitable movie version
biopic
that's going to happen. Did you know that Joe actually released a statement saying who he wants to play him in a movie?
No.
You know who he chose?
Please tell me.
He chose 2 actors who could not be more different from one another. The first one, which I think he's being a little too flattering on himself, is Brad Pitt.
Okay, well, shut the fuck up. Yeah.
I don't think that's going to work. The second one is hilarious because of how close these 2 characters could potentially be in terms of what this actor has played. David Spade.
David Spade?
Joe Exotic is basically Joe Dirt.
Yeah, with tigers.
With tigers.
And less morals, because Joe Dirt had morals.
Yeah.
I'm new. It's my first day.
Aside from that, a lot of other people, they want Danny McBride to play him.
I think Danny McBride would be a perfect choice for Joe Exotic because it's just ridiculous enough to work.
I think he could channel that energy quite a bit.
Yeah.
I think Kate McKinnon is going to be playing Carol Baskin in some sort of thing that's coming up. You know who Kate McKinnon from SNL.
Oh, yeah.
And she does have, in many ways, sort of like that same sort of like vibe that Carol did as well. So I think that's really. Do you think Carol killed her husband? Be honest. Let it out.
It's so long ago, man.
I know, but the evidence that they give you here.
Here's the only thing I don't like. If I had to pick something that I think makes her look very guilty, the idea that she went and got his will and changed her to the power of attorney out of nowhere, and it wasn't originally that way, and it happened after he went missing, within a day after he went missing, that's weird. Like if I die and then Corey runs over and grabs my will and rewrites it.
Suspect.
That's weird.
I just killed Christian in this scenario.
I'm just saying.
Like that's what's so strange about it. Like I said, after this documentary, like I loved it, but I'm now more interested in the Carol Baskin story.
Yeah,
if anything,
it's interesting.
I think it's incredibly intriguing, and Netflix would be stupid if they don't decide to make some sort of sequel after this.
But can't she stop it now that she understands what Netflix would do? She could not sign her rights away or something.
I'm not sure how any of that works because they were able to release all this other stuff.
Well, they got them to sign waivers to be in it, but no one got paid to be in it.
So maybe the future of this stuff could change a little bit.
Yeah, because they might not sign waivers anymore.
And you told me this documentary, wasn't it created by the people who made that the Fire Festival?
Some people, let's just say the producers or the director or some person that was key in that.
It's unrelated. Like you suggested, I watched that, and I watched it right after. That's just a good one too. Definitely not as insane and
in some ways more.
In some ways, yeah, but just an overall of just the ridiculousness and over the topness of the Joe Exotic stuff.
Absolutely.
Like I said, if you guys just want to waste a couple hours and you want to see a crazy documentary, check it out. I'd love to get any of your thoughts about it in the comment section below. Did you watch it? Do you think the hype behind this documentary is overblown? Do you think everybody's just watching it because we're stuck at home? Really just sound off in the comments right
Yeah,
there.
what are you guys watching right now? Since we're all stuck at home, what are you guys watching? Because I've been watching a ton of YouTube videos about how to fix cars. I don't know why. I don't fucking fix cars, but I am stuck watching, I think it's Chris Fix. That's one of my favorite YouTube channels right now I'm killing time with. And also a bunch of Doom playthroughs. Like I'm watching people play Doom on Ultra Nightmare. And the way they play that game is so talented.
Have you beaten Doom Eternal yet?
No, I have the last level or two. I haven't beat it. But also they're all playing on PC. That makes sense because there's no way you can switch the weapons fast.
I was going to say, last time we talked about Doom Eternal, we talked about you can use like a keyboard and mouse. Have you tried that yet?
No, I haven't even played since I thought of it. So,
oh, okay.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. I just been trying to be productive with my time and not sit around and play video games. Like I'm getting some yard work done.
So you play when the sun goes down.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just hang out with my wife and play with my micro tiger. That's kind of what I do. I like YouTube videos. That is my go-to move. When I'm bored, I will just sit on YouTube for hours, like looking up old 90s Honda Civic builds and dumb shit like that. Like I will look up the most random niches. I watched a guy make a Porsche an electric car. I just like weird mechanical videos. I don't know what it is.
It's your need to create.
I'm dying to make something. Like I want to just grab a car and sand the whole thing down and paint it or something. Like I just want something to do with my hands. I think I didn't realize how much I like to do work.
You're a starving artist.
Shut the fuck up. I'm not. I'm not that good at creating. I just like it.
No, it's good to do that stuff. I mean, I wish I could say I was doing something a lot as cool as that. I've just been watching a lot of anime on Netflix for the most part.
You said you had to you went outside and just did yard work because you got bored.
Well, I did a little bit of yard work, I mean, nothing too crazy. Just me and my roommate, we were taking care of our lawn. Like I mowed the lawn yesterday, and we've been cutting up a lot of bushes and creating mulch piles and stuff like that. But you know, that's 5 hours in the day. A lot of the time, though, I've just been. But I did start doing that stuff. Like I went through just this binge from Saturday all the way through mid-Sunday of just nothing but Doom Eternal and Netflix. Just
I understand that I can't do that more than one day in a row though.
And I used to
one day of that, and then I got to go away, and then I can come back and do it
I used to be able to do that a lot more when I was younger, but I find now I have to spread it out.
You used to stay up to 3 a.m. playing games and shit.
I can't do that shit anymore.
I know.
Plus,
I can't
once
do it
midnight
either.
hits now, I'm tired now. I'm an old motherfucker.
I mean, my wife and I she gets to work from home now. She has an essential job. And she
gets such a resentment.
I know. Thank God someone can pay the mortgage. And so she has this essential job where she works from home, and we just hang out a lot more because she's just home all the time. Obviously she was always home at night, but now we see each other in the morning way more. And I go home for lunch sometimes, and we hang out. And it's been sort of fun to invest in that relationship a little more. And I don't know. I'm just trying to stay busy, man. I need my mind. Look, if you come out of this quarantine time and you haven't developed a new skill or sharpened what you do, I think you're kind of wasting this time. This is not a vacation. This is get your knives sharp so when the goddamn doors open, you're ready to stab some motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying, Corey? I'm trying to inspire some people here. What I'm saying is you need to get your skills sharp so when you hit the workforce again, you're blowing people away with how ready you were. Because you can't take another month once the world starts again to get good again. You need to be ready. And I know me watching car videos and dumb projects doesn't sound like I'm helping myself, but I will not stagnate, gain 20 pounds, and wonder what happened to my quarantine time. I'm going to know what I did. And so stay out there and stay inspired, motherfuckers.
Wow, you're like an R-rated Tony Robbins. That's insane.
It
is good advice, though. Take this time to, better yourself, and even if it's something minor, just do it.
I'm going on daily jogs. I almost only ran once or twice a week. Now I'm doing it 5 days a week. Just try to keep pushing yourself, guys. Stay motivated.
I mean, I'm an indoors guy. I hate doing yard work. I did shit last week that I've never done in my entire life. I cleared so many bushes and trees. I found out that I have a fucking sewer entrance in my backyard that I've never seen before.
How long have you lived in that house?
Fucking 5 years.
I know.
And I didn't even know it existed. It was just covered by vines. I'm now so good at that. Now I'm obsessed with certain things. I love edging and weeding and everything and making it as clean as possible. Mm-hmm. It's little shit like that.
Gets ladies wet.
I've cleaned out both of my closets. I've been doing a lot of chores around the house that I never usually do. That's just the way it is. I've also been making a lot more YouTube content, which
I think they notice.
I think hopefully you guys are noticing. But that's also tied to my Netflix binging as well. I've been watching everything from Beastars to Madoka Magica. Watch that shit. I just put out a review of it. It's really good. And I have a few other things that are going to be coming up. I'm almost getting ready to start working on my Patreon review probably in the next week. So
you're going to review Patreon?
Yes, Patreon itself. No, it's a Patreon-supported review, jackass. No, it's one that I've been working on, and everybody knows about it because I've talked about it one in the last podcast, and in one of my reviews I mentioned I'm looking at Hitman Reborn, so people are excited for that, so that's really cool. And I'm going to be doing a lot more just random anime reviews, because that's what I do. I try to find these like little 12-episode shows that I can watch really quick and just get right to it. If I see something that's like over 26 episodes, I'm like, fuck it, I don't even want to touch it right now. And I found a lot of stuff that I've really enjoyed, so that's good stuff. But I think that's a pretty good segue as we move into manga time. It's time to talk about the latest chapters of One Piece. That's right, my friends.
One Piece report.
And this is awesome because, man, we finally got to see the return of a character that I love, but I always forget about his existence. And
Brooke. No.
It's none other than fucking Jinbe.
That's right.
Jinbe is going to be coming back, and officially this chapter, the latest chapter, has not been released yet, but we're going to talk about some of the spoilers right now. We didn't get an opportunity to talk about the last chapter, which, did you actually get a chance to read that one?
I don't understand. I don't think so, because I don't understand what just happened between the two chapters, because it doesn't seem like much changed between the two.
Not much changed, but here's the long and short of it. So, obviously, Kandro was revealed as the traitor.
Yes.
And then he steals Momonosuke away, and then Luffy and all them come up, and everything's great. Right after that, we get to learn that apparently the forces that were wiped out by Kaido and Orochi's group are actually not wiped out at all. They actually just sort of show up like all of the fucking Avengers at the end of Endgame.
They kind of just show up late.
Exactly. And this was actually all a part of some sort of secret plan where apparently there was false information that was given to Kinemon and his group where all of these people were supposed to meet at like this one dock, and they're actually supposed to meet in another location. And then you have fucking Denjiro, who's been officially revealed to be a Kiyoshiro, who showing up with this like massive army of people, and even more people have actually decided to join their forces, so they have even more backup. And it was all a part of this secret plan where they were given certain information. Kinemon was also given certain information. And the reason this chapter was kind of funny is because of the way it ends with Denjiro just assuming that Kinemon realized what the plan was, but Kinemon's kind of dense, and he's like, oh, actually, I didn't know any of this was happening at all. And they kind of try to play that for laughs, but it's a very dense chapter, which is filled with an assload of dialogue. Pretty much every member of the Straw Hats gets to actually like do or say something, and it's just
no, they don't do much.
Well, they don't do anything really, but they sort of chime in and give
go.
their input on everything that's happening. So basically, that chapter ends with all of the forces arriving, and we get to learn that they weren't destroyed and they're getting ready to finally go to war. The latest chapter is where things actually start to pick up just a little bit more, with Kandro trying to make his escape with Momonosuke. For some reason, Kandro just refuses to kill Momonosuke on the spot.
Yeah, you were bringing that up, that it would just make much more sense. Look, if the enemy forces, the Kaido side wants to weaken the Luffy side, they should just kill Kid.
This is some Saturday morning cartoon villain bullshit.
Like,
if you guys really want to get rid of like the Kozuki clan, just Kandro, draw a sword and chop off Momonosuke's head. I know it'd be really dark and ridiculous for the series, but like, why doesn't he just kill him right now? What is he waiting for?
Why does he
have
Kaido
to bring
to
him
kill
to
him?
the villain? Like,
yeah,
like maybe Kaido instructed him. I don't want him. No, just fucking kill the kid and be done with it. And I know it's kind of fucked up.
Whoa, someone's going to write a quote. Corey's going to just fucking kill the kid. They're going to say that.
They're going to take that line and out of context, it's going to sound really fucked up.
They're going to bring down our whole channel.
Exactly. We're keeping this video for evidence, though. We're not letting that shit happen. But that's basically what happens. Kandro decides he's going to make his escape. He starts to attack all the ships in a pretty cool fashion. One, he's actually flying on a bird that looks realistic, and he actually has the ability to create this like massive like, I guess it's like a cloud of ink
cloud, yeah,
which fires all of these arrows down like onto all of the people and the allies and all of the ships, and it's pretty freaking cool. But right as he's getting ready to make his escape and the beast pirates are getting ready to attack, suddenly one of the ships gets a massive blast of water, just going right through the hull of the ship.
One of the enemy ships.
And that's when we get the return of Jinbe. And again, I love Jinbe, but he's always like, he pops up and then he leaves for long extended periods of time.
Well, because he's too powerful. They like to use him strategically. Just like Luffy wasn't trying to rescue the kid for some reason.
Yeah.
He talked to the kid as he's getting kidnapped. He's like, "Oh, see ya." He's like, "You're finally acting like a man. Good luck." And I'm like, "Why isn't your arm stretching out and grabbing that kid?"
Exactly. Just fucking Gumu no punch Conjuro and save the kid. Like, you would think that he would do something like that. Then again, there's a lot of chaos going on with everything, with all the ships and the big attack from Conjuro. There's like a giant storm going on. Like, this is all crazy shit.
Word bubbles everywhere. Can't see shit.
Exactly. But I love the return of Jinbe. Jinbe is definitely one of my favorite Straw Hat pirates.
Yes.
I love him for how unique he is. He's a fishman. He's giant. He knows karate. He's incredibly destructive. He's one of the few Straw Hat pirates who can actually separate from the group easily, and that's because he is a fishman. He can swim in the water and do all types of crazy shit. I just really hope that he stays around this time. I want to see... There's one thing that I don't ever see, and it's one of my favorite things about One Piece, and yes, it's kind of a tired thing in the show, but I love watching the characters interact with one another. I want to see Jinbe be a part of all of this ridiculousness all the time, just because he's definitely the oldest and like wisest member of the team. But really, I just want to see more of him battling along with the Straw Hats. I just think that's a really interesting thing about his character, and he's just badass. It's just simple as that. He's just a big, awesome karate fishman.
Yeah, and also I think his intro was an official like announcement that he's joining the Straw Hats.
Yeah.
So I feel like that was the actual takeaway. Yeah, him shooting a beam of water through a ship. We've actually seen that a few times already.
Yeah, definitely.
But him announcing that he shared a glass of sake with Luffy and now he's officially accepting and is officially a Straw Hat pirate is sort of a big thing. It also makes me believe that they're it's getting very official. Look, if you join Straw Hats, you have to announce it. It does not just because you're on the adventure with them.
Like, I mean,
What's her name? The bunny lady?
The Carrot.
Carrot is
Carrot's
not an
basically
official.
she's not official yet. I would still like her to join the crew.
Yeah, no problem there. But she
I-
seems more like an arc character than a Straw Hat character currently.
And I mean, we've had those in the series before. It's like Vivi. Is she a Straw Hat pirate? I mean, in a way she is, but she's never with the group anymore. You know what I mean?
Is she the one with the duck?
She's the one with the duck. I don't know why that's funny. Yes, she is the one with the giant, ridiculous, goofy duck that looks like a Pokemon.
Yeah.
But no, Vivi, might as well be an official member of the group despite not traveling with them all the time. But she was also one of those characters who traveled with them.
Wasn't she a princess of that land and had to stay there?
Yeah,
to
the
run
Alabasta.
Yeah, she was the princess of.
And we saw her in the Reverie arc and everything, which is all pretty important stuff with her. Yeah, she traveled with them for a long period of time as well. But I mean, this has been probably the most extended period where the Straw Hats have had a lot of guests with them for a long time. I mean, Kinemon has been with the group since freaking Punk Hazard.
Yeah.
I guess so has Momonosuke.
And they're not going to join because they are essentially
they
they
got
have their own thing to do.
Exactly. And it's all been sort of leading up to that as well. But they've been jerking us off with Jinbe like for the last couple of years, where he showed up in
Would you say it'd be
Dressrosa arc.
blue balls since he's a blue guy? Never mind.
We'll take that one back to the drawing board. But the point is...
you miss all the shots you don't take, guys.
No, you don't.
Okay.
But yeah, he showed up in Dressrosa arc where he was awesome. He showed up in the Big Mom arc where he confronted her personally, which was really great. But that's just sort of like his thing. Like he'll show up for the arc, and then as soon as it's over, he'll leave. And I'm like, I guess I'll meet up with you guys later. But I really hope that he just stays on that fucking ship after this arc is over and sticks around with them just a little bit.
Well, he has an
longer.
official title. He's the helmsman. Like he's
Exactly.
the guy that steers the ship now. You know, not the navigator.
Yeah.
That's Nami's job. It's different. He's just the guy that operates
I thought
the
that
ship.
Frankie was the helm, or is there another term for him?
Frankie's the
shipwright.
He's the
Yeah,
ship
you're right, you're right.
mechanic. Yeah,
Exactly. You're
Yeah.
right. Jinbe is the helmsman.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it makes sense that he can, like I said, he can go off and kind of do his thing and come back and sort of operate from the water all the time, which I expect a character like him to do something like that. But it was a really great entrance. It's good to see him return, and I really hope that now all the Straw Hats are officially back together, that we're finally going to get some like crazy action that's about to pop up.
Wait, are you saying everyone's on that ship? Like Zoro, everyone is on that ship right
I'm
now?
pretty sure everyone is there.
I know Sanji and Nami were there, and Brooke was there.
Yeah. I mean, Frankie was definitely
Frankie
there.
was there.
Usopp.
I'd have to read this one more time.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Chopper is there. Yeah.
The word bubbles were there.
The word bubbles were definitely there in these chapters. But it's really exciting stuff. We're finally going to go to Onagashima Island, where
Yep.
Kaido is, and hopefully this is going to lead to a major conflict, which The author has been building up for a long time, saying it's going to be bigger than Marineford. It's going to be insane. And I believe it with all of these ships that are actually showing up. And I expect there to be a number of other surprises, like, with Kaido and Big Mom. I expect a few other groups to possibly show up.
What about Luffy's?
Luffy's
group of people.
Are they going to show up again, like all after the Dressrosa arc? I think that would be very fitting. And of course, that also just means that this battle is going to be absolutely insane. I mean, just everybody's going to get to fight someone.
I want to see the official setup. Like, I don't really understand what's going on. Let me just say that. Like, this chapter was so busy, I don't quite visually understand what's happening. Mm-hmm. So I hope that, like, all the ship, like, whenever they were at Marineford, I understood what was happening. There was the ice area where all the bad guys were coming from, and then there was the big castle where the good guys were. Like, it was very well laid out, and they jumped around a lot to explain what was happening throughout the battle, but I don't quite understand what's about to happen visually here. Obviously, they haven't revealed it, but I'm saying I hope it's well visually organized as well.
I just have a feeling there's just going to be this massive, insane free-for-all style battle on this island, which is also going to be supplemented by battles which are going on the ocean.
Yes.
And it's just going to be, ocean, island, and sky. Just fights going on all over the damn place. And I just can't wait to see who's going to be matched up with who, what ultimately these battles are going to lead to, and what sort of surprises could happen. We could be getting just your stereotypical run-of-the-mill, massive anime-style manga battle. Or there could be a lot of surprises. Like I said, I expect other parties to show up and sort of like mess things up and make this even crazier. It simply just can't be Kaido and Big Mom versus Luffy and his group. The thing about Marineford that was so exciting is that they brought in so many different pirate groups, and then you had the government, and then you had the warlords showing up, and the Yonko, like everything just like was crazy there.
Yes.
So that's why I'm sort of expecting from this as well. Overall, though, I thought it was exciting. Jinbe, again, one of my favorite characters. I'm super glad that he's back.
No, it was a good ending. His announcement that he is officially the helmsman of the Straw Hat Pirates was badass. It shows you that they're putting in, Law, Kid, and Luffy are leading the charge. These are extremely powerful characters. Plus, if Luffy can get the alliance there, that's a lot of people. Yeah. Plus, these... I don't know. I'll be honest. These fucking samurai people are supposedly powerful, but we haven't really seen them do all that.
They haven't had a chance to sort of stretch their wings yet.
No.
I think this is going to be the time to do.
Like I bet they're going to slash people with their swords.
Jeez, man. They might have some unique ability.
They cry a lot.
Everybody in One Piece cries a lot. Everybody. Look at every arc of the series. Even the most giant, muscle-ripped men cry like little bitches in One Piece. That's just the way that they do things.
I mean, I hope they do things, because this is their chance to, do something. And if fucking Zoro just does bigger sword slashes than them, that I don't really understand what their point of them being there was. Besides the history and the build-up and the story, I understand that. I'm just saying, physically, what can they do to turn the tide of this battle? We haven't seen them do anything. My bad.
I think we're going to see some unique stuff. We're just going to have to wait and see.
I don't want to.
But overall, if I gave a score for this chapter, superficially, there are a few things that I nitpicked on, but I really loved this. I loved all the stuff with Kanjuro. I love the return of Jinbe. I'm going to give this one a 4 out of 5.
Boom. There we go, guys.
Yeah.
So One Piece was great.
Was.
Check it out. It's not an action chapter. It's a setup chapter, but I feel like we've been kind of stuck in setup chapters for kind of the last 5 chapters.
Yeah.
Well, not set up. It was before it was flashbacks, but the last 3 chapters have been all set up, and now it's time to fucking get some payoff. Right, Corey?
That's right.
Okay. What's next?
Well, one thing that I did want to talk about, and I did have another subject, but I want to save it for another podcast because, man, it could just go on for freaking ever. And this is just a little fun fact thing that I think is kind of funny because of everything that's been going on in the world. It's impossible to not be surprised by anything, but are you familiar with Magic the Gathering?
No, it's I call it adult Pokemon,
Adult Pokemon. Well, did you know that they're adding Godzilla to Magic the Gathering?
No way.
Yeah.
Show me that card.
All right, I got to show you.
You got to put that on screen too.
Yeah. I will definitely make sure to put it on here so that you guys can actually see it. But I was reading an article the other day, and I'm not even into Magic the Gathering. I was a little bit into it in the late 90s. But they're actually going to be including Godzilla characters in this brand new set of Magic the Gathering cards. It's not just going to be like Godzilla, it's going to be a lot of the other kaiju and stuff. Look at this one right here. Godzilla, King of the Monsters.
Okay, legendary creature, dinosaur.
Yeah. And they're going to be doing like him and like all the other people and the artwork on these cards.
It's quite good.
Like I want a fucking poster of that shit right there.
It's cool.
That looks so cool. But they're real. Like they're actually happening. But another reason I'm bringing up too is because I want to show you this one card. They had to make a pretty big addition, which was Space Godzilla. I don't know if you ever
Destroyer. No, that's different. Okay.
But with everything going on in the world right now, they had a card ready for Space Godzilla, and with these monsters in Magic the Gathering, they usually have distinctive names, and his was Space Godzilla Death Corona. And
does Corona mean something in Japanese?
I'm not sure, but the timing, it doesn't matter what it means in any way. Right now, that's a word that's like kind of taboo. I
heard videos are being demonetized if you even say that word in the video.
Holy shit.
So we might want to be careful how often we say it in the video.
It's true, but they had to go back and they changed it to Space Godzilla the Void Invader. That's what it's actually going to be called from now on, which honestly I think
What does the word Corona mean?
I'm not sure, but I think that in the movies he had an attack which was called the Corona Beam, which was basically it's the same thing as Godzilla's atomic breath, but they had to give it like some sort
a different name. Yeah,
sort
I
of
get
a distinctive name. But here's the other card, like in an example of just some of the other cards that you're going to see in this set. I'm going to see if I can find it.
They're cool looking.
No, they look really awesome.
I've never played a single game of Magic.
I haven't either, but it's so surreal to know that there's actually going to be like Godzilla Magic cards. Like that's the main one right there that I saw the first time. Godzilla Primeval Champion.
Yeah.
Just it's surreal seeing that and how cool it actually is. But the entire set is going to be supplemented by a lot of other like kaiju monsters that aren't necessarily like associated with Godzilla, but just like a bunch of giant monsters, like this one right next to him, the Titanith Rex. Like it's just going to be supplemented, but like we're going to see Godzilla, we're probably going to see like King Kong and Rodan and all that other thing. But I think it's a really cool collaboration. I really like it. I didn't realize that Magic the Gathering had like such a big like following in Japan.
Oh, that's cool. Well, I know those games are fun.
Yeah.
There's a local comic book shop near us, and they have Magic the Gathering nights. Not anymore. But, they used to.
Not for now.
Not for now. And but either way, it's a fun game. I get it. It's very much a monster battle game where you have to keep your, I think, like energy points to use their attacks with. I don't. Do you understand a little more?
Honestly, I said, I tried playing Magic the Gathering.
There's too many nerdy things out there, guys. Like I don't have the time to learn all of them. I just don't.
Like it was in the late 90s when I started to kind of become interested because at the time I was playing Pokemon and then I was playing the Pokemon card game and I'm like, oh, Magic the Gathering, that's like the next level.
Yeah.
Like and I tried to get into it and I tried to learn the rules and I couldn't. Really, I was only into the cards because of just the amazing artwork. To be
is way
honest.
Cooler than like your Yu-Gi-Oh and your Pokemon cards. I thought
there are people who will fight you on that, but like
well, look. Those are different art styles, in my opinion. The more realistic monsters. Are
oh no, definitely, yeah. Magic goes for definitely more realism in terms of its designs. Still very fantasy based,
kind of like a Warhammer looking thing. Obviously no robot people or whatever.
No.
Oh, what's that series you've been watching on YouTube? The furries versus the Warhammer.
Well, again, since we've just been quarantined so much, like you, I have been watching a lot of stuff on YouTube.
Yep.
And I love watching just really shocking and fucked up cartoons. My two favorite channels for that right now are Meatcanyon and Flash Gits.
Yep.
And Flash Gits did
Can
this
you spell
one.
that? It's Flash.
FLASH Flash and Gits GITS or Z.
Okay,
it's
either
one
way.
of the two.
You'll find it.
It's very easy to find. And I saw this video that he released, and we've seen a couple of these before. Like we saw Joe Rogan fighting the chimp.
Oh yeah.
Which was really great. And then they just did this one recently, which is called Sonic Gets Cucked. Which
oh my god,
I'm not sure what the title is really supposed to refer to, but it looks like it's just going to be a Sonic parody video. And then it's just Sonic and his friends just all getting basically assassinated by the Space Marines from Warhammer.
Yes.
And it's because the Space Marines are on this crusade to kill all of the furries.
Yes.
And the entire joke, of course, is that it's Sonic and his friends getting murdered. But then all of a sudden you have these actual furries like come out and
like
they try
the
to
smiling foxes and the purple foxes
yeah,
and
the
everything.
ones that look like really fake and stupid.
Yeah.
And they're trying to save Sonic because he's one of the furries and Sonic gets really pissed off. He's like, I'm not a furry.
Yeah.
And then... And
they're
I
like,
thought
yeah, you are silly, and they grab him.
And like, It was really funny and I loved it, but then I realized that this is actually like a sequel to something that they had created earlier, which is called Furry Apocalypse.
Yes.
And apparently it's like this whole series just about the Space Marines just trying to desperately kill all the furries in all of existence. And man, I really hope they continue with it because there's so many other like properties that they could sort of weave into this entire narrative, which I think would be funny.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I remember I remember you got into it because I was playing the video and you heard like a scene of the Space Marines killing all the little Chow from
machine
Sonic,
guns. Yeah.
And you heard like, and then you just heard like these kids screaming.
Yeah.
And it was the little Chow from Sonic. Like it's really fucked up, but it's great. And what I love about Flash Gets cartoons is how they take they love taking like these big muscle bound characters and having a lot of fun with them and making them just super over the top. And I just love how hilariously angry these Space Marines are and how like much they just love death and destruction. Like
Well, that's Warhammer. It's just literally an epic, like galaxy-wide fight for existence.
Mm-hmm.
There's no love or peace in any of that show. You know, it's all just murder and death and invasion and you know, chainsaw hammers and machine guns and stuff. So when you mush that with furries, it's just such a juxtaposition. It's very jarring.
It is. It's great. I mean, if you ever wanted to see a furry with a jizz gun
God.
firing it at a Space Marine, then it's the thing for you. And anything with like Sonic parodies to me are some of the funniest because you know Sonic is low hanging fruit when it comes to making fun of him.
Oh, dude, it's so easy. It's weird.
It's so easy, but it's just it's absolutely hilarious.
What's the other Sonic Rule 35 or whatever?
There was that was created by another. I can't remember who made that one.
What's the title of the video?
It was a Sonic versus Rule 34.
Yeah.
That one was great.
Brutal.
I loved that one. So, like I said, the Sonic fan base and Sonic in general is really easy to make fun of, just for how cringy it actually can be, despite the fact that Sonic does have some cool games. But just, man, I love that one. But yeah, I'm not sure who made that one, but I also have been watching a lot of Meatcanyon. We've talked about him a couple of times. This guy's been blown up over the last like couple of months. He started out kind of small, and now people are just heavily anticipating everything that he is going to create.
His epic deep voice personality he can do is so creepy. And his Ed, Ed, and Eddie video is so weird. And his Big Mac one is so weird. The Ronald McDonald one.
I looked up that, and he actually got someone else to voice Ronald in that one.
Oh, that makes sense because it doesn't sound like him at all.
But whoever did that voice, just...
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's funny. Like, you know, I love horror, and I love horror movies. Haven't seen a horror movie in a long time that's genuinely made me feel creeped out. This dude's cartoons send shivers down my spine sometimes when I watch them for the first time.
I showed them someone and they're like, what the fuck did you just show me? You know, like they have no way of understanding.
You showed your wife
Yeah.
the Wabbit season one?
The Wabbit season? No, I showed Keith, our the guy that works with us. He was really disturbed by it. And then I showed Dana the Big Mac one. Mm-hmm. And she's like, what are we watching? Like... She just like halfway through, she's like, stop it. I don't want to watch it. It's making me very uncomfortable. And I was like, I know.
That's the point.
He's so good at it. You
Yeah.
know, like you have to kind of give hats off to the guy that he can make something so, I don't know if disturbing is the right word, but so uncomfortable. Like as you watch it, you're like, ugh, you know, like,
But you can't help
yeah.
but want to keep watching.
I
I discovered
love-
him because of that Pinocchio video. That was the first one I saw.
I want to be a real boy, Papa.
A real boy, Papa. Like that was the moment I was like, this guy's really funny. And then he just started blowing up. He kept releasing a video like a week, and they got progressively more disturbing.
We should put some links in the description so people can check
yeah,
out
or at least I'll put a link to his channel because you guys need to check him out. He's in these dark times. You need to watch some dark cartoons.
Oh my god!
And they don't get any darker than
Meatcanyon.
Than Meatcanyon. Like I said, Meatcanyon and Flash Gets, they're both they can have disturbing material, but Flash Gets is more goofy and over the top funny.
It's
and
like a
shock
cartoon character that all of a sudden bleeds and you don't
Yeah.
expect it. While Meatcanyon is just awkward the whole way through. It doesn't
Yeah.
look real at all.
But they're hilarious. And not just his parodies. I think a lot of his original content, he does a lot of original cartoons that are really great. He does this one Western series, which is called 1883, which I think is hilarious. And he also does these like other videos called Day Drinking, which is just this redneck who answers questions from the internet. And they're funny as shit. So like his original content and his parodies are all really great.
I've never seen that.
And,
I need to watch it.
I've seen a lot of disturbing internet cartoons, but I love his overall distinctive style, and it's fresh and refreshing. And like I said, during these times, if you need a good laugh or you just need to hide in a corner and cry, Meatcanyon is the videos you need to see.
That's a weird recommendation, Corey.
It is.
What was the one with all the not Critter Christmas? I'm talking about the critters that would die every episode.
Happy Tree Friends?
Happy Tree Friends.
Yeah.
It has a little bit of that
Flash
vibe,
Gets
too.
is more Happy Tree Friends.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Definitely more in that vein, which I think is still going on somehow.
I don't think so. I think that's done.
Really?
I think it got on Adult Swim for a while or something, and then it died off.
God, that was like early, mid 2000s?
Yeah, that was first on Newgrounds, bro.
I remember our friend Zach showed us that, I think, for the first. He was the one who showed us that.
Newgrounds.
All I distinctly remember from that show was a squirrel's face being, like, put on a grill.
Oh, and being held down.
And then they pull it up, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, God, that was some fucked
An
up
eyeball
shit.
stuck as they pull it up, or something like that. Yeah.
But again, like I said, that's more Flash Kid style. But Meatcanyon videos are videos that are funny and creepy, but they'll stick with you.
I swear a psychologist should watch one of those.
Yeah.
And give a review of it and define why it's so creepy.
This is a full endorsement to Meatcanyon, by the way. Dude, if you're watching, I love your videos.
Yeah, dude.
Continue to make them, and don't sweat the small stuff when it comes to like the takedowns and stuff of some of your videos.
It's because it's working.
Keep doing it. They're really, really good. So I think that's a pretty good segue to go ahead and end today's episode. Again, thank you guys for watching another episode of the Powerful Nerdcast, episode 99. We're about to hit the 100th episode of the series. Hopefully we'll be able to have that out for you next week, and hopefully you guys will listen. Again, give us your ideas and comments in the comment section below. Questions for us, things you want us to talk about. One of the best ways to support this is definitely just to continue watching it, sharing it with your friends. Hit the like button. That really helps out too. But if you guys want to go the extra mile, please look in the description box below. We have a PayPal and a Patreon account, and we would really appreciate any and all donations at this time. A little bit definitely goes a long way. So anything else you want to leave us with, Christian?
No, I just want to say thank you guys for watching. As always, please check out our links below to help us out. And sorry I looked at my phone a few times during the podcast. Just, we have a lot going on in the world right now. So I want to stay in touch with my loved ones. And we hope you guys watch the episode and check out some of Corey's new content, because we will be producing at a much higher rate for a while until real life clicks back in. So enjoy the internet. Enjoy your free time. Make it count. And until next time, the Powerful Nerdcast is out.